And we're back! New episode of Basebald coming at ya. We are talking baseball from a Houston perspective, but we look outside of Houston every once in a while too and like to talk about baseball in general. So to this point of the season, what are some of the surprises surprises and disappointments that are out there? We're going to talk about that, who's doing what, and just remember you can always reach us Facebook and Twitter. Our Twitter handle is
at Houston or HOU Basebald,
and you can always send us an email and ask us some questions. We'd love to interact with you. But let's jump right into it and talk about some of the surprises this year.
What's the first thing that jumps off the page for you?
Well, the first thing I want to talk about is that the Cubs don't start Bryant to start the year,
right?
But somehow are able to be in first place with a 5-3 record when they do call him up. So I don't think it was that big of a deal. They waited. They got their service time in. Now he will be that they get that other year.
I don't understand what the controversy was all about. I mean, that's the way the rules are set up.
Oh, it was just a lot of hullabaloo about that Boris had to talk about, and the Cubs did what they needed to do. They were in first place, 5-3. They've got their third baseman. He had a rough first day, but I think everybody expects him to hit well, and he's shown that the next couple of days that he's going to fit in just fine. So excited to have Chris Bryant here, another young Cubby that we get to watch. I'm excited that we get to root for the Cubs now that they're not in the same division as us. I do think that one of the surprises is the Cubs being in first place.
Yeah, that's a tough division, and really didn't see any room for them to kind of fit in with any kind of competition this year with the Cardinals and the Pirates. But yeah, it's good to see them off to a strong start, and we'll see if they can maintain 500 ball or so.
Yeah, I think in the same division, we all knew that Cincinnati had a pretty good lineup, so that's really not a big surprise. I think one of the big surprises is Milwaukee being down so much after leading that division so long. 150 days last year or something like that?
Yeah.
They're really struggling out of the gate this year, but I'm excited about the Cubs, and so that's what I wanted to hit on first.
Another surprise about the Cubs would be Lester's production so far.
Yeah, really surprised.
Sharp.
Yeah, usually you don't see that from a pitching when they switch leagues. From a pitching perspective, usually it's batters that have a little adjustment period.
We usually had that dead arm issue in spring training.
Yeah, I hope it's nothing serious. I'd like to see Lester perform at a high level for the Cubbies. So hopefully he gets that turned around. And he is having a little trouble throwing over to first base now too. So that was pretty ugly. That was pretty ugly. But I don't want to talk about the NL Central. We're done with them. We've moved on.
Yeah, it's over. It's past.
Yes.
The AL Central though.
The AL Central.
They're really just kind of looking up at the division standings today. I was like, what?
Yeah, Detroit. I think their magic number is like 5.
Yeah, 10-2.
They are 10-2 out of the gate. They look solid. Everybody's hitting. Everybody's pitching well, except Anibal Sanchez has been a little shaky. That Shane Green kid looks like the real deal. Dave Dombrowski does it again. He's had his misses, Robbie Ray, but he usually hits. And man, Shane Green looks like the real deal. Pretty impressed with that kid. We'll see if it holds up. Alfredo Simon, I don't know why people were ever down on him. He's looked like a solid 3-4 pitcher when he was with the Reds. He looks like the same thing here, and that's all they need him to be. The bullpen's going to be a question. Nathan going down again. Soria stepped right in. It's fine. Bruce Rondon has come back. They look like they might need another arm out there in the bullpen. We'll see if Nathan can put it together, but they look solid. The Royals are off to a similarly hot start, 8-3. I'm not that high on the Royals.
I'm not either, but hey, it's good to see. I like to see it.
Pitching, defense, and timely hitting is what they did last year, and they've kept it up this year. Not scoring too many runs with that lineup, but they're scoring at the right times. If the Astros could get a couple more of those timely hits, they might be 8-3. But I'm a little surprised at the White Sox slow start with that lineup. You figure, just like the Astros lineup, you figure they've got so many good bats that some are going to be down, but somebody's going to be hitting, and
that
just seems
that
like
kind of slump at the same time thing. That's boggles the mind a little bit. It's like, how can everybody be in a funk at the same time? I don't believe in that. It's contagious garbage. It's a feel for getting up there and hitting the ball. So it's interesting to see that happening not only in Houston but in Chicago.
A bonus for the Astros is Chicago's 4-7. The Astros with a Luke Gregerson save today will be 6-6. So a pretty, I would say, not surprising to me. I don't think to you either. I think the rest of the country would be surprised if the Astros ended today in first place. Yeah. But
still, it's too. I mean, it doesn't mean too much, but I'm happy with it. I'm not really watching the standings. I'm watching the record. I'm trying to win series. I want to see these guys fight for it and really try to win. Show us that they want it.
Yeah, I am encouraged that the pitching staffs look good for the Stros, and if we start hitting at all, if Springer gets going, and we're somewhere right around 500, that really could start surprising some people.
Yeah, I think Keuchel and McHugh are one of those surprises that we're referencing here. But another surprise to kind of jump around the divisions a little bit in the NL East, Jordan Zimmerman.
The NL East, Zimmerman has not looked. I figured he'd be one of the Cy Young favorites. He's in a walk year, trying to put together a big year, get that big cash at the end of the year, and I'm sure his numbers will be fine.
He'll get it anyways. But he's
lack of control inside the strike zone, I think, has been his problem. He's just too many hittable pitches right now.
Yeah, he's
at bad times. So
too sharp. And,
but
combined with the lack of offense for the Nats, it's a bad combination.
Yeah, the whole division has been a little topsy-turvy, I'd say. I was really high on the Mets, and so I'm glad to see that they're up there. They're at 10-3, right there with the Tigers, and only a half a game in front of those powerful Atlanta Braves.
The Braves, what is going on? Freeman's actually seeing pitches to hit.
Yeah, I can't believe anybody would pitch to Freddie Freeman, but he's on fire. Jason Grilli is stepped right in there for Craig Kimbrell, and the pitching staff, I think we agreed, was always a strong suit. Teheran, Shelby Miller, Wood,
Minor.
Yeah, so they got the pitching staff that keep them in games, and right now they are getting the timely hitting. I don't expect that to last. I don't think that they'll be a 500 team, but right now I think that's one of the big surprises out of the gate.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, the Nats being under 500, and the Marlins with such a slow start. Everybody was really high on them. I was not one of those people.
I don't know why. I don't get that.
Yeah, I was not one of those people, but 3-10 I did not see.
Yeah, that's rough.
And so I think I even said that I like the Astros better than the Marlins, but a lot of national people didn't, and that's one of the reasons why we have this show, Houston Perspective, because we feel that the Astros and Houston in general doesn't get enough attention. So
go Rockets, by the way.
Go Rockets.
Well, I think you're right. I would pick the Astros to finish better than Miami. I mean, record-wise. So I don't know. I don't know why people were so high on the Miami Marlins.
Yeah, I think that filling in with Giancarlo Stanton having a big year, they fill in with D. Gordon. They get a little bit more pitching. I signed Mike Morse. I like the Gaddis addition better than Mike Morse, to be honest with you. I mean, Ozuna and Yelich.
That's the biggest surprise of the season so far is people picking Miami. I'm surprised. Not a surprise. Trout is doing very well, but you see guys underperforming on the offensive side so far out of the gates. That is kind of frustrated you or shocked you?
Well, all of the Astros have underperformed. All of the Nats, I would say, have. And Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh offensively, I don't think has warmed up yet. Josh Harrison hitting around 200, McCutchen hitting around 200, Polanco, Marte, both are still, they've seemed to have hit some balls pretty hard this week, but I think that offense is going to be pretty potent eventually, and they've gotten off to a slow start, so I'd say Pittsburgh is the one that jumps out for me. I like the Blue Jays. I'm a little surprised that it's a tough. I mean, they're right there at 6 and 7, so they're only a couple games out at first, 1.5, I think. That whole division's right there at the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you really can tell anything from the AL East at this time. But the NL West has been kind of a surprise with the Rockies.
Yeah, talk about that.
Look like they can pitch and hit on the road.
Until Tulo gets hurt.
I don't see Tulo getting hurt this year. I think he's going to have a big year.
Okay.
I'm a big Tulo guy. I like the thing about the Rockies right now is I think they haven't had that chance to have that long homestand yet, where they all go and get really comfortable at home, and then take their bad habits on the road with them. Right now they're on the road. They've been pitching well. They've been hitting well. They had a short series with the Cubs at home. And haven't picked up those bad habits yet this year. I think that's what happens on the road with the Rockies, and they haven't had that long homestand to pick up those bad habits this year.
Where they all feel like Superman.
It's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming. I don't see the Rockies hanging around. They just don't have the pitching.
Nolan Arenado is legit though.
He is. I guess. I like Arenado.
One man's opinion.
I like Arenado. I just don't see him being the big superstar that everybody else does. Hey, you want to compare him to Scott Rowland? That's fine. That's probably a better. I'd probably go Scott Rowland over Mike Schmidt at this point. But I don't know. I don't know if everybody has to be all crazy about him. He's going to be a good player. He's a great glove, and he'll probably hit 20 home runs. So.
Yeah, I think. I'm surprised that Chris Bryant struck out 3 times to start off his career.
I'm not. He was pumped. He wanted to do something. He was jumping at all those pitches. He got that out of the way. James Shields is a veteran who just feasted on that. Bryant, once he relaxed the next day, he came right with 3 walks and 2 hits. So he's gonna be just fine.
Not too shabby.
He's gonna, like he said, he's gonna have fun, and I think we're all gonna have fun watching him. It's gonna be an exciting year. Hopefully the Astros will keep it up right around 500, and
stay in the hunt.
Yeah,
stay
in the hunt.
It'll be an exciting summer for first time in a long time in Houston.
So we'll get to watch the young Cubbies and the Astros, who did win today.
Excellent.
And they are now 6 and 6. So. For Basebald, I'm Brandon. This is Brian. Go Stros!
Go Stros.
We're talking baseball. Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew 'em all from Boston.